What has happened here is the sexual revolution has castrated men in terms of their ambition, in terms of their mobility. That is what the sexual revolution did, and it did not make women happier. That is the dirty little secret here. The second wave, third wave feminist movement did not make women happier, and it made men a lot unhappier. And what we are seeing here is the impact of that. David Brooks is afraid to say it, because if you say that sort of thing, people get very angry at you. You violated the rules. Now, I'm not making the case that women shouldn't be in the workplace, that they shouldn't be able to get the jobs that they want. I'm making the case that traditional social roles, traditional gender roles absolutely matter.
I noticed that, a lot of world leaders now are trying to push people to procreate. Everyone's worried about falling birth rates and population decline, on the one hand. And then on the other hand, you see all these kids on the internet declaring that they're not going to have kids and that they are asexual as an identity. So it seemed to me that that this was, somehow 50 years after the sexual revolution, in a way, a kind of reaction against it, a sort of asexual revolution.
The sexual revolution, which was one of the driving forces that fragmented families, let's say, promised an infinite wealth, let's say, of spontaneous carnal delights. And that's certainly a vision that's being very much promoted by the radicals on the left. But the empirical data tell a completely different story. The people who have the most are religious married couples. It's true. It's true. And it's actually quite overwhelmingly true. And there's more to that. So 30% of young people in Japan under the age of 30 are now virgins. They have no relationships at all, right? The same is true of South Korea. And that trend is powerfully beginning across the West. And so what seems to be the case is that promise of indefinite hedonistic delights actually devours itself, and very, very rapidly, so that you don't get anything that was promised and you don't have what you had.
One of the very interesting things that we're seeing is survey data showing that people are having less sex, that they're less satisfied with the sex they're having, and then a point that Brad Wilcox, who's a sociologist at the University of Virginia, makes a lot is it's actually married religious couples that have more sex and are more satisfied with their sex. And so the sexual revolution lied. It said you're going to give up, you're going to shake off the taboos, and you're going to have a great sexual time. But instead, what do we see? People who are lonely, they're single, they're struggling to form relationships. A lot of the men are addicted to pornography. And this is not a recipe for happiness in any way. We see that, and I like this from C.S. Lewis, Screwtape, talking about, his fictional devil, talking about how we're going to promise them, and we're going to get their souls, and we're going to give them nothing in return. We'll promise, and we won't deliver.